Hello to the 4 out of 109 subscribers still watching my videos. It's me again. Are you a man of culture? Do you enjoy the finer things in life? If you're like me and enjoy culture as much as a fine shot of whiskey, you've come to the right place. Welcome to Genshin Impact, a game everybody played and now I am just playing. Genshin Impact is a game that wants to be Breath of the Wild in many obvious ways, except instead of simping over Zelda for an entire game, you simp over a whole harem of thick anime waifus. The concept of the game is pretty simple. As you play, you unlock characters that you add to your party based on their skill in combat. Don't worry, ladies, the guys have plenty skill as well. Each character has an element that may be stronger or weaker depending on the enemy you're facing. Imagine Pokemon, but all the Pokemon are anime girls. I've played a bit of this game already, and I'll give you a quick rundown story-wise and what I've been doing along the way. You start with a pretty cool opening cutscene. You discover that you're from another planet, and when trying to get home, an unknown god prevents you from leaving.
When you wanted to leave and go on to the next world, your path was blocked by some unknown god?
This is where you pick your starting character, one of the twins who are the main protagonists throughout the story. I, of course, picked the female, for reasons. After this, your brother gets turned into Minecraft blocks and is taken away by the goddess of mommy milkers, leaving you stranded on this world for years with only this little cretin to keep you company. This is Payman, which according to the story, you fished her out of the sea 2 months ago and she's been with you ever since.
Yeah, Paimon really owes you for that. Otherwise, Paimon likely would have drowned.
She'll be your guide and occasional annoyance throughout most of the beginning of the game. After starting out on a beach, I spent some time chasing crabs and discovering chests before activating a teleport node. These are scattered throughout the map, allowing you to fast travel to them at any time. It was around this time I began to see Breath of the Wild's influence shine through. Payman tells you a good way to find your brother would be talking to the gods, so we make our way to the statue of the Wind God. After a blatant Breath of the Wild ripoff, we get some cool powers and unleash it on the local population. On our way to the nearest city, we witness a dragon swoop down into the woods nearby. Upon investigating, we find a boy trying to converse with said dragon until it gets pissed and fucks off somewhere else. Payman scoops up the red jewel it leaves behind and we make our way out of the woods.
Hey, you! Stop right there!
Here, we meet Amber,
I am Amber, outrider for the Knights of Favonius.
the first member you will add to your ever-growing catalog of waifu material. This is where the game introduces the mechanics of switching between characters, as well as giving us our first ranged character. Her element is fire and she's a pretty good character, among other things. So we help her clear out some monsters, admire the view, then make our way towards the city. Along the way we meet a kid whose dad left for cigarettes and never came back, as well as some people ready to destroy a child's sense of wonder. In town, Amber tells us that the dragon attacks are making everyone sad, but on the bright side she has a present for us and wants to meet us on the city's high ground. After bypassing some roads, Amber gives us a glider and we swoop our way down to her just as hell begins to break loose.
The sky.
Storm Terror, the dragon from earlier, assaults the town, sending us flying away in a tornado. This leads to a pretty sick sequence where you chase down the dragon while bombarding it with magic missiles. But before we can finish him off, Storm Terror dips, leaving us floating back to Earth. From this point, a lot begins to go on, so I'm gonna start speeding through this.
You hurt?
Here we meet Edgy Slowclap, who shows up and tells us that the Knights of the City want to speak to us. They consist of Gandalf the Thick and Lady Thighgap. They explain that the source of the dragon's power is emitting from 3 temples around the area. So, after being given free waifu tokens, our party is assembled and we embark. Each temple is pretty much a shrine from Breath of the Wild. When you enter them, it switches you to either Amber, Edgy Slowclap, or Gandalf the Thick, depending on the temple you go to. You get some tutorials on how the elements work and how they interact with the environment. At the end of each temple, we find a windstone that upon breaking weakens Storm Terror. Beating Gandalf the Thick and Edgy Slowclap's dungeon grants them as characters, which is pretty nice. After the final temple, Edgy Slowclap tells us to run along and he stays to investigate what's making the monsters act up. A snow wizard appears, but before Edgy can make a move, a mysterious fireman intervenes.
Knights of Favonius, always so inefficient.
Agree to disagree, but your involvement in this just made things a whole lot more interesting.
And the plot thickens. Which brings us here. A whole world to explore, but also I need to level up to continue the story. Genshin Impact definitely isn't what I expected, and the story actually has me a bit hooked. Plus the game is free, which really got me on board. So, if you'd be interested in seeing more of our grand adventure, pop a like on the video, and if it's your first time to the channel, consider subscribing. If you're liking the new video format, be sure to let me know in the comments below. I plan on doing more like this in the future. Until then, I'd like to thank you all for watching, those who are, and I'll see you in the next one.